Greetings, survivors and friends, Shadowfrax here with your weekly enlightening on all things Rust development, and as we move further into the dark and salty depths of January, things are starting to pick up with multiple projects being worked on. First of all, as I mentioned and will mention again, next Thursday 23rd of Jan, there'll be a mandatory update to add what looks to be some Lunar New Year content, including, but not necessarily limited to, fireworks, which should be a cheaper option to the ones we have currently, and they're being handled on a branch called Boomer Iteration. Okay, not sure on whether these will be free or a paid item, but I'll let you know as soon as I find out. And of course, in case you were worrying about it, the mandatory update won't be a forced wipe. That'll happen as usual instead on the first Thursday of Feb. That's the 6th, so you don't have to check. And what exactly will be in that update? Will there be cars? It's hard to tell because so much work still seems to be happening with them in the commits log. Tell you what, they'd better be amazing after all this wait. I'm starting to experience burnout over them. MIDI support works now, I'm pleased to say. What you need to do currently is create a new folder called Instruments in your Rust install folder, only on staging at the moment. Put your MIDIs in there, then once in game, and with an instrument in hand of course, all you need to do is type instruments.playRecording followed by the name of the MIDI in the F1 console to start emitting notes. Which means stuff like this is a lot easier to achieve now. I mentioned a branch called Farming 2 last week was being worked on, which will see a rework to plant genetics and breeding, plus some new items such as fertiliser and compost. Talking of which, you may or may not remember me showing you this model of a composter back in 2018 that's been in concept limbo ever since, and I'm not sure if this is still going to be used, but apparently many items will be compostable and different items will produce different amounts of fertilizer, which will boost growth rate. And here's just an idea, but fertilizer in the wrong hands and with certain other ingredients can sometimes open doors for you, if you know what I mean. Might give more incentive to create that huge pumpkin farm or abattoir. As far as I know though, this is just about food. As well as this, it looks like we'll be getting some new life stats to keep track of our accomplishments and failures, such as headshots, flight time, player, animal and scientist kills, number of hours spent reeing, etc, etc. There are some new admin commands, useful mainly for cinematics, which I am into of course. Player.wakeup wakes a sleeping player up, and player.wakeupall causes all sleepers in the server to stand up, useful for waking bots up after a server restart. Or trolling people. Inventory.copyto copies a player's inventory to the player in front of them, and inventory.equipslot and inventory.equipslottarget can be used to put certain items into players' equipment, but what I'll do is leave the details of how to use these in the description if you're interested. From the commits, it looks like hit detection and hit boxes are being worked on as part of the skeleton optimization branch, but we'll have to wait and see how that improves things. And in the F1 menu, you can now search for an item at the bottom instead of trawling through the tabs at the top. I'll have more info for you next week, no doubt, so make sure to subscribe, smack the bell for what it's worth, and leave me likes, comments, second comments, and whatever else down below. Follow me over on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and my Steam group, plus support me on Patreon, and I'll catch you all soon. But in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio.